Jalen Richardson's last clear memory of September 4th, 2016 was of heading west on I-20, a few miles outside of Atlanta.
It happens so fast, you never really know at that point in time until everything's over what's really going on.
Richardson was cruising along with his motorcycle riding group when he was struck from behind by another bike.
With those sliding came the sparks from the bike, and then with the bike and the fuel came the ignition of the flames, and then flames led back up to the gasoline, and then there was an explosion.
They land in the middle of the street and they on fire. Oh my God.
A mushroom-shaped inferno surged nearly 20 feet in the air.
Put that blanket on it. Put that blanket on it.
By the time EMTs arrived on the scene, 2 motorcycles were ablaze and 3 people wounded, including Richardson, who endured the most severe injuries.
My gear and I started melting to the pavement itself, so they pretty much had to scrape me up.
I was on call that weekend, and I believe it was a Sunday or a Monday of Labor Day weekend.
Dr. Javonda Hodge is Assistant Medical Director for the Burn Unit at Grady Hospital. Led by Emory surgeon Walter Ingram and staffed primarily by Emory doctors, Grady has the most comprehensive burn center in Atlanta and one of the largest in the country. The center treats around 3,500 patients every year. For the burn care team, challenging work that can change lives. Richardson's case would be one of their most memorable.
He was awake when he came in and talking, and you can kind of see his motorcycle helmet had kind of collapsed on itself.
And let me tell you what's so spectacular about this helmet, right?
Richardson has held on to the helmet as a trophy of his survival. His recovery would be a long, difficult, and painful odyssey of surgeries, wound care, skin grafts, and rehab. Third-degree burns covered nearly 2/3 of his body, including his left arm and hand.
The burn was quite deep in that area, and he really didn't have very much movement in his left fingers at all.
Much of his left arm couldn't be saved, but luckily he had suffered no brain nor organ damage.
Because he was so young and so independent beforehand, that I knew that he'll bounce back.
After several months and more than a dozen surgeries, Richardson had made enough progress to continue his recovery as an outpatient.
When I got home, I literally started to eat everybody out the house.
Richardson had always been athletic and, as a member of the Army National Guard, was no stranger to the rigors of discipline and physical challenge. But long months of recovery offered entirely new challenges. Regrowing skin creates huge metabolic demands. Even getting enough daily calories was tough.
He stopped eating, and with malnutrition, he started to have wound breakdown. He wasn't moving around as much. He developed contractures in his lower legs because he wasn't walking or using the walker, and kind of really got, sounds like, just depressed.
Richardson was readmitted to Grady.
At that point, I started to lose hope.
But Dr. Hodge was having none of it.
Dr. Hodge would come in and be like, I'm not allowing you to give up on yourself. So she went from Dr. Hodge to Mama Hodge real quick.
I think I just always have high expectations, and I set the bar pretty high. Eventually worked. I mean, it was a lot of tough lessons, tough love.
But it was a basset hound named Peaches, a hospital therapy dog that helped nudge Richardson over a crucial line.
To see a little furry friend come walking in through the door, I'm like, this can't be real.
When the dogs started coming around, Jalen really took an interest in them.
It played a drastic role in my recovery.
Richardson eventually got his own therapy dog named Hawken, who was large enough to pull him around in his wheelchair. As Richardson got stronger, he set a goal to return to active duty with the Guard. But to do that, he would need to pass a standard physical fitness test.
The dog first was pulling him around, then he was pulling around the dog, and they had to retire Hawken and got a new dog that can keep up with him.
When I got shadowed, he could not stay still, man. He was just shooting all over the place, and I was just like, that's exactly what I need. Started working out with Shadow, started running with him, as much as I could, and then next thing you know, I was coming back in, and I had passed that PT test by seconds. The last test that I got the highest score out of everybody in my unit.
So what I like to do is, this is like close.
Today, Richardson is strong, fit, and back in action. In fact, he was awarded the 78th Aviation Troop Command's top honor, Soldier of the Year.
I think his story was just so remarkable, and I hate to say miraculous, but it was miraculous as far as, You don't see a lot of people who come back from that darker place to that higher function.